Okay. Ready? I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I played the part of Alfie Murphy, the title character, the Alfie Murphy, not the small enclosed room. Well, Alfie is loosely based on myself, but I say loosely, based, not just based on me, but based in people that I see in my environment. I wanted to make this show because I have learnt so many things over the years, and I wanted to share my wisdom and philosophy with people.
And if I can, sharing a bit of my poetry that I wrote, because a lot of my poetry that I write has got acting.
So acclaimed is a company of 22 autistic, neurodivergent, learning disabled associate artists, and some of those artists have been with us for many, many years.
What do you hope to get out of this course?
Hopefully an agent, also hopefully more opportunities to be acting on stage, or possibly even telly, maybe.
And the associate artists who come onto our programme attend monthly masterclasses and lots of different theatre techniques and styles and performance, and can also undertake performance lab sessions. So that's where they can kind of workshop or scratch an idea. It could be a really loose idea, it could be the beginnings of an idea, it could be a very well-formed idea. And what we do every week is we workshop those ideas and we bring them alive, and we really get to know each individual artist for their uniqueness and for their individual expression.
And yes, and more opportunities to share my poetry, which I already do, but just that little bit more.
Because I've been working on this show since 2018 now, and it started off as somebody that wanted to be a yoga teacher that had a hot temper and was angry, but in the process of writing it, thought about if somebody who's got anger issues but pretends to be all, calm and peace and love all the time, then they're pretending. And, with that kind of coincided with the idea of fantasy.
So my experience of autistic fantasy, working with autistic creative people for many, many years, is this incredible, very detailed orientated world building. It seems to be that whereas other storytellers, might sit in a writer's room and kind of really think through characters and plot lines and kind of get it up all on the wall or in scripts, a lot of the associate artists seem to kind of create all these worlds in their own minds, and they're so incredibly rich. There's so much depth to them, there's so much nuance, there's so much really detailed character development. Every person has their own unique stamp on the fantasy world.
Fantasy is a gift, a journey, a trap, a possibility, an opportunity to test things, to see things differently.
Well, me and Cian working together, we have way too much fun sometimes. We've talked about our own fantasies that we've had, and we've gone off into those fantasies with different ideas from each other, which is quite nice. A lot of my fantasies does come from people that I know in the real world, so it's quite nice that when I'm talking to Cian, that we can exchange what our different people in our fantasies are. One of the things I always have heard is that autistic people, we can't ever, we're very factual people, and that we don't have fantasies, we can't imagine. Actually, I think it's the other way around, where we have too much imagination.
The show also explores the dynamics between fantasy and reality, and it may leave the audience wondering which is Alfie Murphy and which is Cian Binchy. And we often feel that we are in a society that is full of contradiction about what is real and what is not. Who's telling the truth and who's not. Yeah, but how real is the real world? How can we tell what's real and what's not? And fantasy is something that, as somebody with autism, I've always been very interested in. So yeah, fantasy really resonates with me, particularly as as somebody on the autistic spectrum. This show is very different from other shows, other autistic-led shows, because this show doesn't happen to use the word autism in it. I think it explores a very subtle way of hearing about the autistic mind, and I think Alfie is more of an autistic coded character, which means a character that could have autism, but it isn't mentioned that they have autism. And I think Alfie is different because Alfie is, I think he's a lot kind of less vulnerable than a lot of characters I've played. He's a lot more kind of, I guess, dynamic. So Alfie is somebody who gets out there and explores the world, and that's somebody that I've never played before, so that's a very new experience for me. So it's very thought-provoking, I like to think, and I'm hoping it's a show that a lot of people can really resonate with, or if people can't, at least people can be interested in. And I want to share it with the world, and you know, that those of people who understand my philosophy to kind of really feel me, and they can learn something from me, or I can learn something from them.
I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm into the real world, and you know, gotta do something to, you know, to help. And I hope that this will help, you know, make a better life for me and my family.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Or is it the fire brigade thinking this interview is on fire?
Oh yeah.
Or is it the ambulance because they think that, I can't think of anything smart to say about that. Yeah. Oh, because they believe we are giving birth to this new kind of show, this new, there's something is in labour, and that kind, oh fuck. No, stop talking shit, I'm full of shit.